6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Fullback and My Eyes. We won. We won again. Can you believe it? Absolutely buzzing. Got Ian. Gary is on his way, I think. I hope. But yeah, we've got lots to talk about tonight. The silly Eddie Howe out stuff still going on Twitter. Nick Pope, incredible save. We've got, obviously, the 2 thunderbolts, 3 points. Third in the league, everything's rosy. I know we're not playing that well, but everything's rosy. So we're going to discuss it all in length as best as we can with 2 legends in the background. There's the link if you want to become a member. It's at the top of the chat. It'll stay there. Again, you know, we rely on memberships to make the channel free to run and then also to donate money to charity. So please consider becoming a member. Even in all, 3 valuable points in the bag. It was... expertly done, Les, as always. Oh, Ches is in the house. Good to see you, Ches. Yeah, the ball and arrow. I'm going to talk about Barnes' goal because I have an opinion on it. I know it was a great strike, but I've got an opinion on it. I'm very good, mate. I hope you're well too. Gary's in the house as well. Hey, Caitlin or Nick. It was better than good. It was a great win yesterday. It's been since 2014, I think I said, since the last time we beat Wolves. Absolutely incredible. Caitlin or Nick, or Caitlin and Nick, we don't know which one it is. Right, let's bring Ian in first. How are we doing, Ian?
All right, mate. Smashing.
Good. How are you feeling after your first performance on Saturday yourself?
Did
you win?
We got beat 3-2, which was a bit of a shame. I played the second half, which was understandable because obviously I've just been there and just signed. I got a real shock of the standard of that over 40s league, mate. It's given us a little bit of a kick up the backside to start getting fit again. I loved every minute of it. I don't feel too bad, put it this way.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Only 45 rather than 90.
Well, it could be that, but I'm going to obviously take it on me own accord to do a little bit of work by myself to get fit again. And do you know what it is? It was that excitement again of the night before, getting your bag ready and getting your boots back in. Because obviously when you go to a charity match, it's a completely different thing. You're there because it's a great cause, but you're just there to kick a football about. But it's a completely different ball game, mine, when you're up against 11 players that want to beat you.
It's true.
And it was Peter Beardsley was there. He was watching.
Was he? Oh, good.
But apparently he watches every single game. When we're at home.
He does go to a lot of lower league football games. He goes to Benfield quite a lot as well.
So obviously I'm thinking, God, Peter Beardsley's going to be watching the second half here. But honestly, the fitness levels of some of these players that are there are just it's ridiculous. I did get a shock, like I say, I'll repeat myself. I did get a shock. The standard, the football that was played at times was really, really good, and sometimes it was really, really poor because you get tired legs. First half, I thought the game itself was really, really good. What I stood and watched, but there with a much fitter team, which give us a benchmark to get to a level where we need to be, which is exciting. I'm excited going forward to play again, which is good.
Peter's nailed it spot on with that one. I've seen a few NFC channels still being so negative, even though we came from behind and won in style. We're third in the league, best start for 20 years. How well the lads. Yeah, we're going to talk about all that in depth. Let's bring Gary in. How are we doing, Gary?
Okay.
I'm not too bad. How are you?
Good, yeah, very good.
I was riveting Ian's story there, to be honest. I was just sitting there listening to it.
No, like I say, guys, it was really, really good. I enjoyed it, and it's not just a one-off thing. A few of my friends and all that's playing over 40s, which I keep in contact with, and they've told us for a while to play, which I just totally denied the fact and went, I'm not going to do it. Bigger fool me, because once Stevie, who obviously was Baz's friend as well, he got us over the line eventually to do it, and I'm over the moon. He's actually persuaded us to do it. He said just get there once and you'll be hooked, and he's right, and I'm like I say, I'm excited to be playing football again.
Once you start playing again, you want to keep playing, don't you?
Yeah.
But as we know, we're all here to discuss this. An absolute fabulous result yesterday. There's a lot to dig our teeth into, which we'll dissect bit by bit. And again, winning games is what's important. Some people forget style is nice when you're winning, but when you win shithausen, it feels just a little bit better. I don't know why. It's just I went absolutely nuts when the second went in. But here's the lineups. And again, Wolves have obviously lost quite a few players recently. They're not the team that they used to be. Strand Larson is obviously an unknown, but I was quite impressed with him. We'll come to him in a little bit. Bit of an old-fashioned centre forward, quite muscly. Did a bit. Semedo is obviously a good player, and Antinori as well. I like him as left back, but I thought he had a decent game. Our lineup was not surprising, sort of surprised a little bit. I didn't think Hall would start, to be honest with you. I thought he'd go with Kelly, but he started with Hall, which we all predicted we would like it to happen. And he went with Murphy. After the Spurs game, he obviously wanted Murphy back in for that balance, and he wanted to keep Barnes back, which a lot of people forget. You've got to have a strong bench as well. But no start for Tonali, especially after his international involvement. He played 290 minutes. Maybe Eddie Howe thought it was best to, Longstaff didn't really do anything wrong against Spurs. So when you've got the shirt, you keep the shirt until something goes wrong. And, obviously we'll go into that. We started brightly though, didn't we? First 23 minutes, I thought, all right, this isn't too bad. Gordon hits the post with an unbelievable run down the left-hand side. It was all Gordon. There's no assist involved in this. It was just him on the halfway line, turning a defender, using his pace, getting inside of the box. And his finish was only half a foot the wrong side of the post, and we would have been ahead that we deserved.
I thought the way we started the game, I thought we looked really comfortable in possession of football. And I thought we had them. I thought it was a typical Newcastle United start where you're going to be in control of a football match. Our first chance came not from Gordon, mate. It came from a good build-up play. It went into Bruno. Bruno lost his two men in midfield, slipped a lovely ball into Isak, who dropped deep. And it was the forward run what we've been lacking when Isak dropped in deep from that wide man, and it was Murphy that broke forward. And Murphy played in between two defenders. Now, I just wish the role was reversed.
Yeah, it was Murphy playing the pass and Isak running onto it.
Yes, and just simply because when I've looked at the chance at the time, I thought, oh my God, it's not a bad chance. But it was a very good chance. Yeah, but when you look at it from behind goal, if that was Isak, I think Isak would have just slipped it either left or right along the bottom, and I think we were 1-0 up. Because it was Murphy and he was under pressure by two defenders closing in, I think he's fallen back when he's had a chance. Hence why he's kicked it high and the goalkeeper's pushed it over. I thought it was a great chance. And when you're on top in a football match, when you start like that, top team score like that. And like I say, I wish the role was reversed and Isak was the one racing through, because I think he would have just slipped it. He would even have had the composure to take it on a little bit, and maybe he's even rounded the goalkeeper and putting it in. That's the difference.
He probably would have megged the keeper, probably would have kept it low and close to his body, because I think the two defenders were quick enough potentially to to keep up.
But
Murphy's no slouch.
he's not. But it's if you go back to Watford the other years when Murphy was in and won and goal, he tried to chip the goalkeeper, and John Anderson just said, "Well, he just please put it back in the back of the net." That's the difference when you've got an average player going forward, and you've got an international world class finisher going forward. I think we'll go 1-0 up. But getting back to your Gordon chance, the way he picked that ball up in his own half and just skipped past his defender. He had him inside out, by the way, but he wasn't just content with that. He even went inside and took another 2 defenders on. And he was so unlucky without a chance. But that could have been 2. That's the difference. From that first chance going on to your second chance. That's so unlucky. But the way we started the game, mate, was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Gary, Gordon made 5 successful dribbles, more than anybody in the game for Newcastle United. And everyone's saying, well, you should put him on the right wing. You know, after seeing his performance yesterday, you've got to keep him on the left. It's his best position. It's
becoming a problem, isn't it?
It is, because you've got two very, very good players who want to play on the left-hand side, and one of them's going to have a sit on the bench or go on the right.
Look, I mean, for me, we're going to have to find a way to get these 2 in. And that's down to Eddie Howe to find a way to get these 2 starting, because they are the best 2 wingers at the club by a country mile. And it's Gordon. I mean, the game started exactly how I thought it would. Newcastle started well. Gordon looked the best I've seen him this season, especially in the first half. His run was fantastic. I agree with Ian. I think Murphy should have scored. And I think Cole Palmer, for example, buries that in the bottom corner and we're 1-0 up. And the game could have been massively different after that, because I didn't think much of Wolves in the first 15 minutes. I remember sitting there thinking, oh, we could win this comfortably. Joe Linton was doing our read in the first 15 minutes. He was intercepting stuff. He was running back. And they looked very comfortable. And it's how I expected it to go. But Gordon's run was just, freaking hell, man. Absolutely flaming phenomenal. And it would have been one of the best individual goals you've seen for a long time. If it had just a little bit, just half
in a bit. The other side, just half a foot the other side, and it goes in off the post, doesn't it? It's so unlucky.
But,
and the Murphy should be burying that.
Oh, 100%. I don't care if it's his opposite foot or not. And at the time, I remember seeing it live and I thought, well, that's a good save from the keeper. And then when I saw the replay, I thought, nah, he's got to score that. I'm sorry, like. And you know what it is? I was surprised. I've seen players Travella that with her right foot now. It's like put a bit of curl on it. But he should have scored. But like Ian said, shame it wasn't Isak there. And at times I feel like Isak's trying to do stuff a bit like Harry Kane does for England at the minute, because he's
coming too deep and
he's not getting the service, and that's becoming a bit of a problem this season. I mean, it's not something that we can't like sort out, but the service to Isak hasn't been great this season, and I think it's summed it up there where Murphy's the one bombing forward.
Do you know what? I'm going to upset a lot of people, but Miggy was running onto it. It's perfect for his left foot, wasn't it? And that's why he likes a right winger who's got a left foot, because he made that run on the inside to get onto the ball, and I reckon Miggy would have buried that.
I'm with Ian. I think in his purple patch he buries it. In his non-purple patch, I think he skies it over the bar, but it's just very opinion. But I know what you mean. Yeah, like it was perfect for a left footer. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is. But then what happened? I mean, Ian, Joe Linton, and Gary rightly says, he started the game well. He made some good recovery runs to get back when Bruno was a bit mishitty with his passing, losing the ball out. And then he got that stupid yellow card, by the way, because he got frustrated. He didn't get a free kick himself. And then he just lunges in with his elbow onto a player. And he's got to be careful going forward, because if he keeps doing that, he's going to pick up too many yellow cards, and he's eventually going to get a red card as well. But that, for me, changed the game, that yellow card, because Joe Linton didn't seem to be the same player after that.
He wasn't the only one, by the way.
No, he was. Everyone just seemed to drop off. But Joe Linton, for me, was the catalyst of it, because he was the one who was sort of being that dogged midfielder who was, recovering the ball well, doing everything that we wanted our defensive midfielder to do, because he was kind of deeper than the other two. So it was just frustrating.
Yeah, and for me, when I look at Joe Linton's whole performance from day one this season to the game on Sunday, I think it just sums his performances up. He's not consistent what he does. He's either brilliant or he's poor. And with that 45 minutes, you've seen brilliance in Joe Linton, and you've seen the other side of him. Now, when Joe Linton at the end, before he got injured last season, he was on a consistent level where he was just absolutely immense. He was brilliant. He was picking things up. He was on the front foot. He would link up with players. He would protect his fullbacks. He would chip in with goals. This season, I think he's been very, very off for me. First game of the season, I thought he was exceptional, but apart from that, I think he's been well below his performances of last season. Is he trying too hard? I don't know. We all know Joe Linton's got that side in him where you kind of take that out of him. You don't want that side.
No, you can't take it out of him. He's got to be cleverer than that, hasn't he? You can't show his frustration the way he did.
But then you're taking that out of him, because Joe Linton shows his frustration in that way, but he can show his aggression in running 45, 50 yards to track a ball back, or making a tackle his own 18-yard box. It's just that's what some players do. It's frustrating, don't get me wrong, but I certainly, if I was a manager, I wouldn't be sitting Joe Linton down and saying, you need to get that side of your game out of you, because I think you'll change the football of that wall like him.
No, we want to see him being aggressive in tackles. I just don't want to see him going in with his elbow the way he does. So just the way that he went in off the ball, it's naughty, and there's no point in it. You've got to be careful with stuff like that.
I get that, but then you've got to be careful. Then you're taming the beast, as you say, and I wouldn't tame him, because his presence at times at times is just, when he's on, it's just people won't go anywhere near him. Yeah.
But when he got that yellow card, he was on the other side, wasn't he? That other side of Joe Linton came out, where he was obviously worried about getting sent off. That's what it felt like when I was watching it. It felt like he was like, "Oh, I'm on a yellow card now. I've got to calm down. I've got to be careful." And then that's him taking his aggression aside, away from himself, by doing something silly.
Yeah, I get your point in that way, but like I say, it's that line where you try and, like I say, tame the beast now. Me personally, Bruno's got that side of him as well. He
has.
And it's down to the player himself. And just because Bruno went 10 games or 11 games without a booking last season, he's still got that side of him, which he would never ever take away from, because sometimes they win football matches, by the way.
And we know we got lucky with Bruno sometimes as well. Some of the tackles he put in, where we're like, "Ooh,
you're on about." I mean, we joked and laughed about it at the time, because we Anthony, when Joe Linton pushed the player blatantly in the back, and then Gordon tapped one against Arsenal. We'll still laugh about it now, but that day Bruno should have had a straight red card for that elbow on Jorginho.
Oh yeah, 100%. But social habits, right? That was a fun game, that one, wasn't it?
Havertz is the one where you'll just leave there was a ball where we played it up the line. I think he take Sean Longstaff out, or Dan Burn. When Havertz came absolutely cleaning through.
Yeah, Longstaff.
It was Longstaff, I think it was.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's why players have reputations, because of that side, and it's in your brain. It's
true.
It's something. It makes the opposition think, he might do that to me, man, because I know what he's all about. And Havertz is another one where he's a shit house, but that's what makes them these footballers. you know, because they've got this edge about them where not everybody. They're trying to take it away. They're trying to take this away from football these days, but you can't, because that's what makes that footballer unique, by having that edge. Because everybody can't be a titty-tatty soft arse like Sean Longstaff that'll roll around the pitch when he's been flicked on his eyelash. You know, you've got to have these type of players in your team, and for me, you don't take it out of them as much as frustrating watching.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, it all changed, and then we went 1-0 down, and it was a catalogue of mistakes. It wasn't just one mistake. It started off with Sean Longstaff losing the ball in the final third. Personally, I can't really fault him that much, because he was trying to play a forward pass. He was trying to be, he was trying to play a 1-2 on the edge of the box, and it got cut out. I mean, he telegraphed the pass is probably the only thing I would say that he should have done better. And there was a better option out wide potentially. But you can't blame him for trying to force something, I suppose. But the catalogue of errors after it is what really will annoy you, Ian, because you're a left back. But Gary annoyed all of us because Dan Burn makes a mistake, and then Lewis Hall's too soft. And then, it's all down the right-hand side. I mean, some people give Lewis Hall man the match yesterday, and I was like, what game were you watching? He was all right, but he wasn't, man of the match material. He got skinned quite a few times. But it's a great cross. He's megged Dan Burn to make it more difficult. Their strikers dummied it. Absolutely brilliant, which drops Schär on his backside because he doesn't know whether to gamble or not gamble. And when the dummy comes in, he's like, oh, crap. And the guy taps it in on the back post. Who do you point the finger at, or do you just point the finger at least 3-4 players really should defend it better and be stronger in the tackle on the edge of the box?
God, it was a catalogue of errors from the beginning to the end. Do you know what it is? If Sean Longstaff had a bit more of a fucking brain, right? And I know I could be being harsh on him, right? But I just think the way he tried to give the ball, like he did, right? All of a sudden,
didn't he?
Yeah. All of a sudden, you try that, right? Bruno's out of position, Hall's out of position, and Burns further up because he's lost the ball in the first place, right? Then they break. Hall's out of position completely, nowhere to be seen. Dan Burn should have done better. And Bruno should have done better because Bruno was running back, but he lost the man when he ran back. But he had to run all the way back because we lost the ball originally in a stupid place. But are them other players too far forward? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
the whole challenge on the edge of the box was very weak. I don't
know. It was.
A couple of times, he just needs to be a bit firmer.
Do you know what it is? I can tell you now, Eddie knows it. I've heard Keown say it, regardless of what you think of Martin Keown. I heard it on Match of the Day last night. Everybody knows that our issue is midfield at the minute. And Eddie Howe knows it because that's why he keeps bringing subs on for the midfield. And the midfield got exposed. I heard an interview from Gary O'Neill that said he wasn't happy with Wolves in the first 15 minutes, so he changed something. And he says I saw a problem and an issue. And he says I went for it. And it was Lemina in the midfield. He started dominating the midfield in the pop.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we had a problem. And you're right, Joe Linton and people like that, for some reason, our midfield three, and I'm including Bruno in this at the minute, for me is just not working. It's not working. And they're starting well, but other teams are figuring it out. And then when they figure it out, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
And the goal was just a comedy of errors, and it's not the first time we've let a shit goal in this season. And you know what it is? I must have been in the kitchen because I didn't even know Joe Linton had got booked. I didn't have a clue he got booked. No, I must have been in the kitchen because I remember going in the kitchen, and then I came back in, and I remember saying to Kyle, because me and Kyle were watching it, and I said to Kyle, I went, Joe Linton started well, but the last 25 minutes of that half, he was frigging useless. And then I realised, he told us when I found out that he'd been booked, and I didn't even know. But it was just too easy for Wolves. I mean, yeah, it was skillful. The guy letting it go. It put Schär down because he thought he had it short and then put him off a bit. But it was just a shit goal to let in. And I think Howe was probably a bit annoyed at half time when in with that goal. I think he would have been a bit knocked by it. But as for Joe Linton, what you were saying before, it's not the first time this season he's frustrated me with his anger because he did at Bournemouth and all with that stupid freaking thing with his arm. I don't know. There's something not right with certain players at the minute. Whether they're feeling pressure of Tonali, Willock, and Barnes being on the bench, I don't know. But our midfield three at the minute who started, none of them are playing well for me. None of them.
No.
And Eddie Howe said it as well. He said, "Look, I've got players who can come in and do a job. If you're not playing well, you're out. I've got quality on the bench." And you're starting to see it in these substitutions. But the goal was just bloody awful. And it was probably deserved for them after they dominated the last 25 minutes of the half. So no complaint. Yeah. It's exactly what I said in the group would happen, mind. I said would start well, because Ian commented on it. And I said we'd get in, we'd have a crap 25, we'd get in 1-0 doing. Because he said I'll not bother watching it. But
I mean the goal for me was,
as a left back, what could, I mean, for me, Hall should have done better.
No, for me,
I'm not pointing blame. I'm just saying, I just think with his challenge, the way how wet it was, I was thinking, why have you let him bully you like that?
For the goal for me, I mean, Longstaff loses in such an important area where we are our own worst enemy when we're in important areas, mate, because all our midfielders seem to be beyond the ball.
Yeah.
So if it does break down, this is what happens. It broke down. Now the ball played inside, and Dan Burn, for my opinion, when if you're 1-on-1, the first thing you do, you're supposed to show you show your attacker as wide as possible. Dan Burn does take his player wide, by the way, so he's done his job. However, he's so weak and lets that cross come in. I think he should have done. He's done well by showing him wide and taking him wide. It's how he gets turned so easy and allows that ball to be brought in. Now, if you notice, a lot of our midfielders, again, are wrong side of the ball. So Bruno's just ambling back. Liveramento's ambling back, by the way. Absolutely dreadful. And the commentator goes, what an exceptional step over. All it takes is a player that's running in who's free to go step over it. And it's
have the awareness to do it and stuff like that. If it was like Isak doing it and Barnes was tapping it in, I know it's easy to do it, but it's to have the awareness to do it.
It's so easy.
It was very good.
Just to see a step over and it's a tap in. For me, Dan Burns done right to show him wide. The cross shouldn't have come in. It was too easy. Our midfielders are beyond the ball. Defensively, we're absolutely appalling. And it's a tap in. It's not the first time, mate, where we've lost balls in important areas where we've been counter-attacked because of our bad positional play. And it doesn't matter whereabouts in that pitch where you lose that football. That could have been another 25 yards up the pitch. Their midfielders, I still believe, would have been beyond the ball. And this is where we have got to be better as a football club in the midfield, where if it does break down, we've still got somebody to protect our back line. And that the manager sometimes has to take blame, but on field, a player has to take that decision as well, mind. Just to say, I'm going to City and I'm going to look, if it does break down, Manchester City do very, very well because Rodri will be that one. If it does break down, pick the pieces up. We just seem to go gun-ho or no-go. And our midfield is like that. And that's so frustrating for me. And we've said this for a long, long time, mind. We've been hurt on so many occasions where our bad play and our bad forward passing has hurt us because our positional play has been absolutely appalling. And I think that's why that's how we conceded that football goal.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's a great dummy, but 1-0 down. Disaster strikes right at the end of the half as well. Isak takes the ball to the face. It's a weird injury because, I mean, the players lamped it and it skimmed his nose and his eye. and it's caused them to have a nosebleed, but also blurred vision. Apparently, that's what they were saying.
Well, if it's if that's blurred vision, or will that go down as concussion?
No, I don't think it does, because it's not a force head injury to give blurred vision. It's just the way the ball's grazed these. It's a tough one. I mean, I personally don't think it would go down as concussion, because it's not concussion. It's just the way that it skimmed his eye.
Yeah.
So hopefully, but we don't know how he is. No one's got an update yet, so we don't know what's going on with that. But, everything we heard in the second half was they're still trying to stem the bleeding from his nose. So I don't know what's going on, to be fair.
Howe said it was his eye at the end of the game, though.
He said it was his eye, but also on commentary that was saying that he had a nosebleed and they were struggling to stop the bleeding as well. And then he also had blurred vision. So, but we don't know how he's come out of it. We don't know if anyone's got an update on it. That would be great. It's blood in the eye. It's
How will play on it? How will play on it all week, but I will say, we're not sure. To get Fulham thinking, you'll not hear anything until you see how Isak walk off the bus at Fulham against Fulham. You'll hear, we're not sure. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. It's shithousen. But Eddie Howe, everyone complains about Eddie Howe and his substitutions. He doesn't make them early enough. He doesn't do them. He doesn't make the right substitutions. And I mean, he was bold yesterday because he made 3 substitutions straight away at half time. Obviously, 1 forced, 2 not forced. You noticed Joe Linton wasn't the same Joe Linton we used to, and pulled him off, brought Willock on, brought Tonali on for Longstaff, which, I mean, we all would have started Tonali, let's face it. And then he moved Gordon up front, which ended up being a masterstroke. But yet we still got people complaining about Eddie Howe. I just don't get it.
I'm glad you brought that up, mate, because I've seen loads of stuff about Howe out, and it absolutely baffles me, because they don't know what he's brought to this football club, right? Since he was appointed in October, how many points do you think Eddie Howe's got? There you go, bang! I knew you put it up. I knew you put it up. That is incredible, right? You've got to remember, mind, we were shit when he came. Absolutely shocking, right? We were unbearable to watch. And what this man's done, we're up there with the top, right? Up there with the top. And we're still work in progress, by the way. We're still work in progress. And is it one of these ones where can Eddie Howe take us any further? I hope he can. But them stats alone has got to shut everybody up, mind, and say who is better out there than this man right now. That is not tied to a football club, by the way. That's going to cost us a
this
hell of
is
a
it.
lot.
All the good managers who could take it over Eddie Howe are tied to football clubs.
So at this present time, Baz, who would you, if I mean, it's a horrible question to ask you, but at this present time, who's the one that can take this football club forward that is doing a better job than Eddie Howe with the players that we've got?
There's not many.
There's only one that comes to my mind, but that would never happen in a million years. No, he hasn't got a job.
Klopp. That has
Klopp.
got
it. Klopp would be the only one, But he doesn't want to come back into football, so it's not even worth discussing, is it?
No,
that's what I'm saying. Never happen.
It'll never happen. But I mean, them stats there alone, Baz, are just.
Oh, they're amazing, and I just don't get it.
I mean, we are always behind Eddie Howe. We've always has been, and always will be, because his hands have been tied. I mean, look at last season, what that man did with the squad, and look what we did, and people are still aren't happy. And now, I think
missed out on Europe because of a technicality.
I think we're on the verge of doing something really, really good. I'm not saying we're going to finish in the Champions League this season, which I don't believe we will. But I think with a good transfer window, I think moving some players out and bringing some fresh blood in around these talented young players going forward, I think he's the right man to take us forward. And I think he's incredible what this man's done for this football club. I think he's brilliant.
I absolutely agree. The second half, Gary, started again, sort of more Wolves, even with the changes. Willock, by the way, very, very impressive. I want to single him out because he only played 45 minutes, but yet he had the most chances created out of everyone, and most of them played 90 minutes. And I know I would like to start Willock in games. The problem is he's not probably ready to play 90 minutes, but he was excellent yesterday. And we miss his forward running when he's not playing. And I thought that was a great switch from Eddie Howe bringing Willock on for Joe Linton.
I know you've always been like a big praiser of Joe Willock, and I have, but not to your like standard that you said last season, right? But when Joe Willock come on that pitch yesterday, he was freaking superb.
He was.
And before his injury at Forest, he was superb and all when he went off the pitch. You know what is? If I'll tell you what, watch what Willock done in that second half and watch what Longstaff and Joe Linton and Bruno did in the first half. I'm going to lay off Bruno a bit because he's the one who has to play the so-called sixth role. Watch his movement compared to them two. He was running past Barnes. Barnes had somebody to lay it off. He was running inside. He was involved in the goal, stuff like that. Willock covers every blade of grass. He makes moves. The defence don't know what to do with him because they're thinking, where's he going to go next?
Yeah.
He doesn't stand still. And do you know what it is? We've got to be careful with Willock. I'd love to start him. I'd love to start him next game, but I don't want him to break down. And that's the only reason I haven't got Willock starting yet, because honestly, when he came on last night, he was friggin' superb. And he changed the game. He wasn't the only one. He wasn't the only one who came on and changed the game, obviously, but just the running he does, the cleverness, we're just quicking up in midfield. And I tell you what, he's better at tracking back than I thought he was, no? And honestly, just absolutely superb player. If he can just stay fit.
Yeah.
But just be careful with him. Just be careful with him. Didn't rush him. Start him in the cup down at whoever we'll play again. Can't remember, Wimbledon or whatever.
I wouldn't.
Start him down there.
I wouldn't, because that's a horrible fixture to go to away from home. Remember what happened the last time we played a lower league team away from home?
Wasn't it a good ground though, isn't it? Isn't it a good ground?
I wouldn't start Joe Willock down there at all. And
would you not?
No, for me, no, down in the cup.
Oh.
For me, our best midfield three is Willock, Tonali, and Bruno, and that's
100% agree.
Going to be, hopefully, that's going to be the one that drives us forward. Tonali is, at me, I think he's absolutely breathtaking. Me, I think he's world class, and I think I love Bruno, right? But I just think this player with games under his belt is going to be better than Bruno. I just think he's just going to be the complete midfielder, and we've said on shows past, Willock and Tonali. I mean, we missed Willock because we've seen Willock on like loads of occasions, right? I thought we really missed Willock last season. The glimpses what we saw of Tonali, and you've seen him, and then we've seen him this season already. And I watched him I watched Italy against France, and I just thought he was exceptional. And that's at the highest level, by the way. And I think now with Eddie making them bold decisions at 45, I think it's sending a signal out now. We're thinking Eddie's never done this because he's never been in a position to do it, because we certainly haven't had the players available to do it.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Now he's just went, look, if you ain't doing it, you're coming off, because I've got world-class players that's going to play instead of you. So hopefully it puts a rocket up Joe Linton's arse, and it puts a rocket up Sean Longstaff's arse. But I did see on shows I think it was on Thursday, I think Tonali was 1 or 2 games away from starting anyway. And I think now him getting hold at half-time, Longstaff, I think that could be the gate open for him. And I think Tonali will start every game from now on, apart from the cup games.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, before we even equalised, we nearly went 2-0 down twice. And I'm going to come to you for this one, Ian, because obviously you've been a left back and a defender, knowing how to keeper line. There was that deep cross that went into the striker up front, the big man, and it was the header.
He hit the post first.
He hit the post first, but it's the header one that really frustrated me the most. I don't think he do much about the post one. I think that was good football, to be honest with you. It was a good effort, but the header could have been avoided for me because Dan Burn dropped deep with him and then came out of that line. Had Dan Burn just held his line, he would have been offside.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what you're doing? Why you done that?
It's probably...
Is it not knowing where your teammates are, or is it just good running from the striker and a good ball in?
No, I think it's caught in two minds. It really is. He doesn't know whether to go, doesn't know whether to go or hold his line, and you just get found in no man's land, and that's what happens. Normally you're switched on and you're ready and you look along your lines, but sometimes you do get caught in no man's land. Mate. Same as goalkeepers. So when goalkeepers come out and catch, or they get stuck in no man's land, I think it was just one of them for me. And
good save from Pope.
It was a great save because it was down low, and it's hard for the big man to get down low like that. But I think at times Pope, I mean, his kicking was appalling, which is so frustrating. And I mean, every goalkeeper I've seen now that plays football are very, very comfortable with the feet. Nick Pope this season, I don't know what's happened to him. He's looked really, really. He's went back with his feet. But
that might just take time to get him back into the rhythm again. Remember, he had a long injury; he was out for a while. That confidence is obviously drained quite a bit.
The thing is, though, he got a shoulder injury. You kind of kick your feet. You kind of kick a football with your shoulder. Everything else about his game.
You can't practice with a dislocated shoulder. You can't practice your kicking. You can't. You know, he's going to be off the pitch, isn't he? Because he's not going to be practicing it.
I think his hands, his shot stopping, apart from the goal when Dan Burn got the Slaters for the own goal the other week. I think apart from that, everything about it, his shot stopping, his positional side of himself, everything else, his goalkeeping stopping side, I think has been really, really good. Just his feet's got to be. He's got to work so hard on his kicking. It's so important.
I think that comes down with confidence. We saw last season before his injury, he was getting confident because he had Botman and Schär to pass the ball to, and he seemed to have the confidence. But when you get an injury for that length of time, and you know kicking is your weak side, that's the area that's going to take a while to come back. He's not going to just be able to walk straight back into goal and start pinging passes left, right, and centre because it just takes time, doesn't it?
No, but the thing is as well, though, it reminds me of when we had Yedlin playing at fullback, where a lot of the teams targeted that side and they'd put balls over the top, or they would put high balls in because he couldn't defend or he couldn't header. If you notice now, the pressing, the forwards are pressing Eddie. The forwards are pressing Nick Pope simply because he knows he's not comfortable with his feet. So it's a weakness what we need to work on, and we need to take that out of our game in a way, because keepers are so important these days when they play with their feet. I mean, Manchester City's goalkeeper, he got an assist there at the weekend. Man United's goalkeeper is very good. Aston Villa's goalkeeper is very good. I hate to say it, but Pickford's very good with his feet. You know, and all the top teams are Man United and all is very good with his feet. We just need to take that side where it allows your defenders to get up the pitch a little bit as well when you're comfortable. It's such a shame that he struggles with his feet, because I think he's a good goalkeeper.
Oh, he's a great shot stopper. We know that because the supercomputer says if we had Pope for the rest of the season last season, we would have been fourth. And that just shows you 10 points is what we would have had. So there we go.
Do you know what it is? I think I don't want to have a go at Nick Pope because I thought he had a great game yesterday. But I find, Ian, I'm not having to dig at you here, but how can you kick a ball better than a Premier League footballer?
I can't.
How can that be possible? Like, I've seen people kick a ball better than he can. I find it bizarre that he can't kick a football. I really cannot. And he looks so awkward when he does it. And I've seen some shite up here who can kick a ball better than that. It's bizarre. Honestly, even the commentator was saying, why is he panicking? Every time the ball comes to him, he panics. And until Botman comes back, we're going to have this. They're going to keep, because we're going to keep playing the ball back this, that, and the other to him at some point, and he's going to have to kick it away. Whereas when Botman's there, Botman's got more confidence to play a long ball up, just like Schär does. And it's, honestly, you're right, it's frustrating, and I do feel sorry for him, but bloody hell, practice your kicking. I
mean, we don't know if he does. I mean, I'm sure he does, but we don't know if he doesn't. I'd love to see what he does on the training pitch, but it is frustrating. Right. These two saved the day for us. We'll talk about Schär goals first, Gary. How many times has he done it? Burnley, Forest spring to mind. And when he hit that, and I mean, I don't think the deflection makes that much of a difference. I still think it's going in because I think it was a very, very good hit. I think it was going in. The deflection makes it look a little bit better because it flew into the top corner. But it was great to have Schär back yesterday, and he's a goal threat as well. And that's one of the reasons why it's great to have him back. Well,
you can tell Wolves didn't really look into it too much because they just let him have a shot and think I had to defend. I think. I took a deflection. To me, it looked like it was going on target. So,
definitely was. I think it was going in.
Whether that goes in or not, I don't know. But like I said, he's had a go because the game. I mean, we're starting to get back into the game then because the first 15 minutes, 10 minutes it was still a bit slow. But then there you go. You know what it is? I don't think footballers do it enough. Sometimes I don't think they have a go enough. And sometimes I think they try and walk it in the back of the net. And I think this weekend showed that sometimes have a pop because we've seen two of the best goals of the weekend this weekend. Not in the Villa game as well. And obviously Schär's got that in his arsenal. We've seen it time and time and time again. And honestly, he's probably the best cheapest money we've ever spent on a football. I mean, £3 million. God, I mean, crazy. How much would he pay for that man at 26 if he was performing he is right now? How much is he worth?
60, easily 70.
Easily. Not many people can do what Fabian Schär does. Not many.
Definitely not.
And it's a weapon and fantastic play.
What I'll say before the goal, mate. I mean, I thought the strip looked absolutely beautiful, mate.
Oh yeah, love it, right?
Right. And the reason why I'm saying this is because obviously Fab Schär's what a beautiful human being he is, right? And back from a ban with a bang. That's what it is, you know. And I just thought the whole of the game, I thought he was brilliant. I just thought he steadied us a bit at the back. He had that composure to get us on the ball again, and just his presence being back there, I thought he was brilliant, mate.
I agree.
And
I'll tell you what, as well, he almost set up a goal straight afterwards as well, didn't he? This is where, shot. For me,
I thought
he should have shot.
I thought he should have shot.
Yes, good well.
But it was great football, wasn't it? The way he slid him in. And do you know what it is, though? This is the problem when you play a left winger up front, because Gordon was on his heels. And if that was Wilson would have been in front of that defender, and that would have been 2-1. 100%.
Yeah. Gordon, so, obviously I'm jumping off subject here, but Gordon was funny because I thought Gordon was great in the first half, but obviously when he went up front, he was a bit quiet in the second half. And
I'm not laughing at that, guys. I've just seen a comment there.
What was it like?
The head and he's still beautiful.
I had a cushion on my lap all game.
Class.
Jesus.
But you're right, like that striker's instinct, Wilson Isak's. But honestly,
heels, I was head in hands because I'm thinking if you just made that run, that was it. That was 2-1.
Well, I was thinking shoot. The minute he went through, I still don't know why he didn't shot. With his shot, well, nobody's late. You shoot from anywhere, but I was amazed he didn't shoot. And I think if he does, it's in the back of the net, honestly, too.
Possibly, if he hits it hard enough and gets it either side of the keeper, there's a good chance. But I don't mind him crossing it. It's just unfortunate we had a striker who's not a normal striker, was just on his heels, unfortunately. we'll come to the Barnes goal because, again, he sort of created it all himself, didn't he? I think Willock might get an assist for it because he passed it to him. But it was Ginola-esque, wasn't it? Like he did against Sheffield Wednesday in the same top. Now, I'm going to be a little bit critical of it. And I'll tell you why. Because I put it in our little message thing. I said, if he misses that, I would have been absolutely fuming because both defenders were attracted to Barnes. And Bruno's made an unbelievable run beyond them. And all you had to do was slide in Bruno, like Peter Beardsley would have done back in the day to Andy Cole. And then Bruno would have had a one-on-one with the keeper and an easier chance. Luckily, he smashes it in the top corner. Absolutely fabulous strike, don't get me wrong. But he's not going to do that 9 times out of 10, where 9 times out of 10, he gets that pass off to Bruno, and Bruno has a one-on-one. But I'm not complaining. The kids shut themselves when that goal went in because I just ran into the kitchen screaming. It was a great strike. I'm not taking anything away from him. But when you watch it back, if you watch it from the angle from behind, you can see how it just opens up for a simple through ball. And that's my only criticism of Barnes sometimes, is that he's very one-dimensional when he gets the ball. He doesn't see the picture opening up as much as what I would like him to. But why would you when you got a strike like that?
It's a weapon. It's a big weapon, and it's got to be. Do you know what it is? When he got into space, I heard the crowd chant shoot. I stood up and shouted shoot. Kyle stood up and shouted shoot because we knew it was Harvey Barnes. And do you know what it is? I just thought the minute he got in that position, this is going in this. And it honestly, look, I haven't seen what you've just saw. Look back, I just keep looking at the strike, mate. I've watched the goal about 10 times and I still haven't saw Bruno run.
Honestly, watch it back and watch for Bruno. I know the strike is unbelievable and it's a great winner. And like I said, I was ecstatic. But had he had missed and you see the Bruno run, you'd be thinking, why hasn't he stopped him?
But when you've got that weapon in your arsenal, I'll let him shoot. Honestly, it's for me anyway. The only thing that disappointed me was he didn't do his bow and arrow when he went to the crowd. I wasn't very happy with that.
He did it eventually, yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't do it straight away. I wasn't happy with that. Because it's like Salas took it off him, you know what I mean? Like that. Harvey Barnes had that to begin with. But it was just Barnes had a cracking half when he came on, and that typified everything. And he's just, honestly, he's a... Barnes is a funny player because you wouldn't see him in a Manchester City or a Liverpool, but he's such a threat with that weapon that he's got. And Robert had
at West Ham last year, he scored the brace, didn't he, to win us the game. The only thing with Barnes, though, and I don't know if you guys will agree with me or not, yes, he scored against Spurs, but he didn't have a great game starting. He seems to put his best performances in when he comes off the bench, because it's like he's got a point to prove. But then when he gets the chance to prove his point from the start, he's not as influential. And I don't know what it is with Barnes.
So if you revert the question back to what everybody was saying about Eddie Howe, and everybody was saying Barnes should have started with Isak and Gordon. And if you look at the potential of what you can bring off the bench to change a game in an effective game in an offensive way, Eddie Howe's nailed it bang on. And nobody can question what he's done. Because that threat from the bench has won us that football game.
Yeah.
On every aspect of his substitutions, from the first one to the last one, has won us that football match. Eddie Howe has nailed that 10 out of 10. Because if Harvey Barnes starts, we don't win that football match. Because we haven't got that coming from the bench. Because you would be looking at Murphy, you'd be looking at Almiron. And when you've got the quality of Harvey Barnes, the ability to do that, and it's not just a one-off, because we've seen it time and time again where he's come inside and he's played them ones down the side to win us important matches and get us important points. Other players can't do that.
No, I agree.
They can't do it. And for me, when I've watched the game back, I agree with Gaz, mate. I've never, ever once seen the Bruno run, because I've been that astonished by how great the strike was, right? It was just an unbelievable strike. And I've watched it back tonight, and the commentator from Sky was absolutely fantastic. He went, goal from Harvey Barnes was just beautiful. What a finish. A goal worth of winning any football match. And what ticked my box the most wasn't them quotes, as how Jamie Carragher sat in silence and didn't say a thing. Didn't say a thing. Not a thing. Now, if that was a Liverpool player, he'd have been...
he would have been spunking all over the place.
Right, from the heavens.
Yeah.
And after that, when we were 2-1 up, the little through balls that didn't quite get there for Wolves, he was going, oh, no. And they've had another chance where they've had a chance. He was going, oh my God, they've missed. Because he didn't want us to go above his beloved Liverpool. Do you know? And
exactly.
Going back to what that commentator said and him sat in silence, I was over the moon when he finished above them at that weekend. Simply because Gary Neville will speak there on Sky, and he'll don't get me wrong, he's read through Man United, but he'll speak on behalf of Newcastle because he's honest.
And very well. He's done it very well in the past.
Man is so biased and he hates it. And I was over the moon with that. He wanted Wolves to get something out of that game, and I was over the moon, absolutely over the moon. And it made for me, the goal was special, fantastic strike, but to win the game that way and he sat in silence was even better for me. Absolutely brilliant. And I raced the gin after that game, straight to Harvey Barnes over his. Carragher and I give him a little bit of stick on Twitter, which he hasn't replied to.
Of course he won't. You know what he's like. And one thing we've got to mention as well is, let's face it, Trippier needs to start next time, doesn't he? And love Tino, and I know what he brings. He brings a bit of pace into an aging, back line that doesn't have much pace. But when Trippier came on again, like he did against Bournemouth, the side looks more settled on that right wing. And I don't know what it is, but I know Trippier doesn't have the legs anymore, but I thought Trippier was brilliant. And someone keeps on commenting after our shows about Trippier losing his legs, and we don't know what we're talking about. Just being vindicated on the weekend again, that if Trippier sorted everything out on behind the scenes and all that sort of stuff, I think Trippier needs to start, and Tino just needs to have a little bit of a time out the side, learning and adapting and watching what Trippier does best.
Before, obviously, my take on that, and you can both have a thing on. For me, I've seen Tino at right back and I've seen Tino at left back. I think he's been exceptional at left back, by the way, when Trips was playing at right back. Now, for me, the person that needs to come out, because clearly I don't think still fit enough at this level, is Hall. Right now, me, I would put Trips back in at right back, and I would put Tino in at left back at this present time. I can't speak highly enough of Kieran Trippier. Bloody hell, I can talk all day about Kieran Trippier, what he brings to his club. And I think he's composure, his experience. We're not naive at times where you find yourself in tight areas. You'll just slow it down. You'll get a little shit house, a little throw in where sometimes you're on. You can be just too hurried to get things on the go. Where you'll just go, nah, we'll just calm this down. Yeah. He's quality. He's one of the best He's been one of the best right backs in the world. He's not at that level now because of his age, unfortunately, but he's still. You've got to remember, he's just playing the Euros final.
Exactly. At left back.
At left back. And what
he was still solid. I know he wasn't great, but he was solid.
And what he brings to our football club's just remarkable. Right? Tino, like I've said, his defensive side looks very, very good because his positional side at times is appalling. And he recovers very, very well. Right, but what he needs to go, in my opinion, needs to go forward. It's that creative side, what he lacks, big style, right, and to get us up the pitch and hurt teams. When he gets up the pitch, for me, he just runs up and down at times. He's not effective. But when Kieran Trippier gets into them areas, or he's got that ball at his feet, he'll look for them passes inside. He's great at that one way he plays through the legs, right, to bring or when that runner's just in between the centre half, he's very good at finding that one. Gets us corners up the pitch, gets us important areas with throw-ins. Where Tino doesn't bring that, it either breaks down and then you'll see Tino running 30, 40 yards flat out trying to get the ball back. It's that side of the game where he needs to get to that level. Yes, he's a player of development. I totally agree that. I totally get it. If you've got a Kieran Trippier out football club, you need to use him.
Use them. 100%. Very quickly, don't forget about our amazing sponsors, Diacro. Link is in the description below for all their gear. 20% off for everyone. Just use code BAS20. Amazing t-shirts and football prizes as well. They haven't got the prize out because it comes out tomorrow, but this week's prize will be announced that they're going to be raffling off, and they're always great shirts, so keep an eye out for that. And this is definitely going to happen. Just don't know who the special guest is yet. Unfortunately, Nobby can't do it. He's back in Peru doing some under 18s team or something like that. He's managing, so we can't get Nobby. So I've got an idea, and I'm going to try and get it all fixed up in the next couple of days. And because it's a January, we're doing it. The January transfer window's open. I've got 2 guests in mind who might do it, and I'm going to give them a ring tomorrow to try and sort it out, because we want to start getting these tickets sold. And all the money is going to Starley Deaf Club and to the food bank. And you also get a chance to meet John and Dan. Instead of trying to pester them all at the football game, come and pester them on a night and enjoy yourself with cheap beer. It's back. I love seeing these photographs. Even Miggy's in the middle there, loving it. Look at Dan Burn in the back, the monster that he is. I love these photographs. Right, and this made me laugh. Let's face it, we did steal. I mean, we weren't even that bad. I mean, we've been worse this season. Let's face it.
I think the
Bournemouth game. I thought this was one of our better performances, to be honest with you. I know it wasn't a perfect performance, but we still created 14 shots on goal, 6 on target, 51% of possession, I think it was. You know, more passes than was. I know some of them were along the back line and people were complaining about that side of it, and it was a bit slow. But winning ugly, Gary, is something that Man United did a lot when they won titles. They won 1-0. They won 1-0. They won 1. Every time I used to turn Teletext on when I was younger, when we were under the Kevin Keegan era, oh, fuck, Man United are winning 1-0 again. Man United are winning 1-0 again. Man United are winning 1-0 again. And it drains you when you see a team that's above you grinding out results like that, having enough quality to win a game, and even when you're not at your best, shithousing results. And that is technically what we've done to get to 10 points so far this season. And I'm all for it. Performance is lovely, but this league is all about winning football matches and getting points. For your team to be able to progress into other competitions, and then to get the better players coming to your club, you need to be winning football matches. It doesn't matter how you win it. I mean, look at Bruno's smile. Look at Tonali's smile. Look at all the players' smiles. Are you telling me that they're bothered about that performance now when they're in that dressing room celebrating those 3 points?
The players know, right? They're not stupid. Gordon said it before the game. They know they're not playing their best, right? And again, it wasn't great to watch at times, right? Personally, I think it was our best performance of the season so far. Probably it's not something to shout about, but I thought it was a decent performance.
It was a very good away performance. We were good in spells. We defended well in spells. We rode our luck a little bit, and we had the quality to win the game in the end. Yeah,
but I think you're right when you've got to win games ugly. I mean, look, does anybody remember the fact that we didn't win the title in '95 because Man United beat West St James's 1-0 when we friggin' terrorised them? Yeah. They won because they won dirty, and they won the title.
One chance, Eric Cantona, volley.
Eric Cantona, bastard. And then, but that's what people remember. They don't remember that we destroyed them that day. We do, because we do. Yeah. Does anybody remember when I went to Wembley and we destroyed Chelsea and they went through the final? No. Yeah. You know what it is? If you're going to win anything, you've got to win ugly in the first place, right? I look at it this way, and we're not playing well, but we're winning games, so it can only get better. And if we do get better, we're going to cause a few issues. And you've got to bear in mind here, I think one of the main problems here is our top 3 players aren't really on form at the minute. Gordon had a good first half, but Gordon, Isak and Bruno are not at their best at the minute, and we're winning games. once these three click, I mean, you know when they'll do it? They'll click against Man City at home. That's when it'll happen. But but when these three start playing, I mean, I think Pep's right. The more I think about it, I think he's right when he said Newcastle are going to be a major problem this season because of no Europe. And I think he's right.
How many times did I say it?
Yeah, I think
It's what I kept on saying to you lot. Loads. I just said we are literally going to be top 4 next season because of that reason, because we don't have the pressure of playing so many games. No. Yes, I expected us to start better than we have in performance-wise. It's not quite there, but I said we'd win our first 5 games. I wasn't far off so far.
No, well,
Fulham, I was only 1 result away, and I said, if we can get that momentum. If we've got 13 points after 5 games, that is incredible. That's a great start to the season.
It's a brilliant start because, I mean, 2 points behind Man City.
When was the last time we got them accumulated points at the start of the season?
95, 96.
95.
There you go.
Keegan.
Yeah, it's the best start to a season since 95, 96, which is incredible.
For me, I disagree with Baz, and I said I don't think we will. We've rode our luck at times, don't get me wrong, but we've scraped there and got there. And no matter how you do it, you get them points. And if you look back at them results now and how we've performed, has anybody bothered? Certainly not. No, because you don't look at the performance. You look at the points on your board now. Nobody's going to think how bad we played, and nobody thinks that we were smash and grab against Spurs. Nobody's bothered about that game. Does anybody remember that game no more? I certainly don't, because I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm looking forward to Fulham and seeing what we can do at another difficult ground away from home. Yes, we've performed well of late there, but it hasn't been a ground where we've done really well over years. But I'm optimistic that we'll go there and get something, simply because now there's a belief inside of us that even if we're playing bad, we can still get results. Now, that's different. And because when we've been playing bad of the past, you've looked and thought, we're not going to get nothing there. We're not going to get, but we've got quality that can just turn a game like that.
Well, I think
Harvey Barnes, bang. Isak, you've got to remember, how many goals he scored this season? 1?
1.
1. Now, this man's going to start scoring goals, mate, because that's his pedigree. That's what he does. So when he starts scoring goals and you've got a man breathing down his neck, glass legs, glass calves, whatever you call him, but he still scores 10, 15 goals a season. Mr. Callum Wilson's coming back. It's healthy for Newcastle United. And Gordon hasn't scored, right? We need to get to a level now where our wingers are going to be, Gordon's going to be scoring. Willock will score goals, right?
Willock will definitely score goals.
Will definitely score goals. It's exciting times, I think, going forward. And
exactly, Gary. There it is as well. The teams we picked up points against are what we dropped against last season, middle and lower ranked teams. We struggled to beat the likes of, Wolves, Palaces, Bournemouths. We struggled to get points off them last season.
I must admit, mate, Baz, we played Palace the end of last season. Palace were flying.
Oh, they were brilliant.
They beat anybody. So,
but even at home, we struggled to get points against. I think we beat them 1-0.
Nah, it
was a horrible game.
We got absolutely destroyed that day.
Look at the results against Luton, Forest
disallowed, which was absolutely appalling.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and you're right, against Luton, because it's you expect to go. Luton's a horrible place to go to. By the way, it's so tight.
No, but when you're at home, 4-4.
Yeah,
shouldn't happen.
When you go away from home and you're used to playing at massive stadiums with huge crowds, it's got to be it's got to be a little bit of a culture shock for players to go and think, wow, that's why you struggle sometimes in FA Cup games. No disrespect to these smaller teams, but when the crowd's right on top of you, some players don't even like that to go in the shells because they used to be protected inside this big stadium. But
again, we drew with Wolves last year. We haven't beat Wolves since 2017. So I'd rather not play pretty football and get results.
Well, it's going to come, isn't it?
We've drew against Wolves since the Second World War, haven't we?
Yeah, it's been terrible. Well,
You know,
2017
what it is?
was Gutierrez, wasn't it? Or 2014, something like that.
Do you know what it is? I cannot wait to see Tonali and Isak play together. That for me, when you've just said Isak's going to start firing, can you imagine Tonali feeding them balls through for Isak? Because it's going to happen.
And then
Tonali's a clever flaming footballer.
I'm sitting with a pillar on my lap.
Yeah, exactly. And do you know what it is? When your striker, your main striker, is not scoring goals, but you're third in the league off, you know, it's just a matter of time. Somebody in the next 3 or 4 games is going to get a good stuffing off us. I don't know who it is, but they're going to click at some point.
There'll be a Sheffield United result again, won't there? Somewhere along the line.
Oh, they're going to click. Gordon's going to be on fire. Bruno's going to be on fire. Tonali and Isak, they're all going to click at once. And somebody's going to get a 4 or 5 now drubbing in the next 3 or 4 games for me. Because they can't keep playing like they are because they're too good. The players are too good. And we've got, the European games are coming up now, and this is where it gets interesting because this is where more games start kicking in.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if anybody hasn't noticed in the chat, go and have a look at Liverpool's fixtures in December. My God, we're in the middle of it. St. James's Park. Liverpool have got to come to St. James's. Have a look at that. That is when it's going to kick in. And Villa are going to start playing Champions League and stuff like that, and we are going to have a break. And it's going in the next few months up till December, January. It's going to be interesting to see how far we can actually get it.
Absolutely.
Depends all the way to February because we found that. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I think Pep's right. I think he's scared. Not scared. I think he's wary of us for a reason, and that's the reason.
Don't forget, mind, this Carabao Cup becomes very, very by around Christmas time because you get into your semi-finals and your quarter-finals, and then after that you've still got your Champions League, your semi-final 2-leggers. So you know,
but isn't there some rule in the Carabao Cup now where, like, next round, Man United, they'll all avoid each other. They'll play the bottom teams in League Two.
That was the round they already drawn.
I remember. It's just there'll be some other rule that they put in for the Carabao Cup that you can't beat one of them. You've got to lose to them or something.
Probably.
Hey, friggin' nonsense.
I want to throw this up because Nick Pope hasn't lost a game of Premier League football in almost a year. Injury aside, it's still 10 wins in the last 15 Premier League appearances for Newcastle. Such an important player, and that was proven once again on Sunday. So this is why I mentioned earlier before, we would have had 10 extra points had Nick Pope been in goal for the remainder of last season. And that save at the end, Ian, was just absolutely phenomenal, wasn't it? Because, Cunha looked like he scored to me. It was a great volley. I thought, no, not now, not in injury time, not when we shouldn't have given away the throw-in because Lewis Hall was weak down the left-hand side clearing the ball. And the way that he hit it, I just thought, and Pope just stretched and got his hand to it. It was absolutely superb save, wasn't it? And that's where you pick up those extra 2 points that would have been a point because Nick Pope is in goal.
I think the header off the centre forward, if Dubravka was in, that would be a goal as well. Yeah, because I don't think he gets down there.
You're probably right now. He definitely pushes into the striker.
Yeah. At times, I think Dubravka's been brilliant, but at times last season, I think some of the goals he led in was so soft. I think it's an exceptional save. It's just like I say, the frustrating sides he's kicking, but he does gain you so many points, mind. Just his presence in that goal. His shot stopping at times is absolutely brilliant. And we missed him last season, and now he's back in. Now he's getting. I mean, we've been critical because he's kicking, but everybody does that, and even the pundits are saying that. So it's not. We're not just picking on him.
Even Paddy Power said, "Forget about your kicking when you can pull a save off like that."
It's an area where, if everybody is seeing it, surely he's got to be working on it. As simple as that. It's got to be.
Yeah, I'm happy for a different formation to be tried potentially, but I'm sure Eddie Howe changes it up in the game as it is. I mean, yesterday when he brung Tonali on, he pushed Bruno further forward. Willock did a lot of running, and Tonali did a lot of the work behind. You know, there's so much that goes on. We haven't got time to talk about that.
Like, say, how would you like to see Anthony Gordon as a 10? rather
I
than
would
a
love
winger.
to see. I've said that. I would love to see Andy Gordon play as a 10, but it's fitting everyone in, isn't it? And
So then
someone's going to have to miss out.
you change your formation to a 4-4-1-1.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, potentially.
and then
I think
you've got Harvey
Um,
Barnes. You'll have Harvey Barnes on one side, but then who's your other winger?
Winger on the right.
that's the problem.
You lose somebody. Obviously Tonali and Bruno go straight through the middle, in my opinion. But it's the other side where
Willick, J7, where do they fit in as well? You know,
it's difficult. It's difficult.
It is.
So your formation change at this present time, the players' availability is going to always be a 4-5-1 out of possession and a 4-3-3, simply because that's the players we've got.
But isn't it great we have options? Something we've been crying out for ages. We got options from the bench yesterday, which again, a lot of people say saved Eddie Howe. The way I see it, if he had started all those players, like Ian said, there wouldn't have been a plan B on the bench. So we probably wouldn't have won that game.
Yeah,
I just want to remind everyone how bad things were. So all this Eddie Howe out stuff, right? So I picked out some stats for you. This was same fixture back in 2020 when Murphy scored a last-minute free kick to grab us a point when we didn't deserve it under Bruce. Look at the difference in the stats. 37% of possession we had, 5 shots, 3 on target. We only had 3 corners, 400 passes to Wolves, 702. You know, the tackles were right up there, 23 tackles for us because we didn't have the ball. You know, free kicks, we had 10, they had 9. But then you look at yesterday's, you know, we had 14 shots. I'm sure there was, keeper made 4 saves. There was 7 corners. You know, we had 471 passes to Wolves, 433. That's 270 passes less for Wolves. You know what I mean? The tackles, we only had to make 14 tackles rather than 23 tackles because we had more of the ball. Now, unfortunately, the stats are completely different because in 2020, they didn't have all this XG stuff and all that sort of stuff. But that would also tell a very telling picture. You know, our expected goals was 1.5. I reckon that one in 2020 would probably be 0.4. That's how bad we were under Steve Bruce. So it's just a timely reminder about, you know, yes, it wasn't our best performance, but look at the difference in chances created, keeping the ball, passing it, not having to dive in as much. The Steve Bruce era was just absolutely shocking. And I can pull up many other stats to show you about how bad we were, but I thought I'll go with the same fixture all those years ago. And it just shows you that, you know, yes, we didn't win pretty, but we won. And that's all that matters for me.
Look, do you know what it is? It's all right. Look, I do that all the time. I'll criticise some stuff Eddie Howe does, right? But never once have I ever said I wanted him out of the football club. I mean, this season, I used to criticise Keegan. We need to get our defence better. Didn't mean I wanted Keegan gone. And look, this season...
And yet we had the second best defensive record when we lost that title.
Yeah, exactly. This season, Eddie Howe's substitutions have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Since the Southampton game all the way through, his substitutions have picked the points up. Now, that's what I like what Eddie Howe's done this season. I'm seeing more of a ruthless side where maybe that's because we've got options on the bench, probably. But I'm seeing a ruthless side from Howe. No, I'm seeing a ruthless side from Howe. When he went in at half time, did I expect him to make 3 subs? No, I didn't. But he clearly thought, nah, I'm sick of this shit. Get out there. And he's done that a couple of times this season. And you've got to praise him for that. I mean, look, it's fine just questioning stuff. People question me. Christ, I'd come out with shite. And you know what it is. But it's like, it's what it is, isn't it? It's just,
even I've come out with shite.
Oh, well, do. I mean, Christ, there's some people in our group, I'd sit there and they probably think I talk shite and I look and go, what a load of bollocks, and I turn the group off. But it's just the way it is. It doesn't mean I want the bugger sacked. You know, what is it? Just,
Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but
exactly.
just if you have a bad opinion, just expect it to be challenged. That's the way I
Yeah,
see
I
it.
mean, it's like if it's like the opinions of, right, Eddie Howe needs sacking, or Isak shite, he needs taken out, or like it's just like, yeah, there's debates, and then there's the ones that just go way
Oh,
over the top. And
there was one that, I mean, he's an all right bloke, apparently, but he put a half and half of Bruce and Eddie Howe, right? And that I
oh
just
my god,
I blew my top. He basically said, starting Longstaff again, you know, they might as well be Bruce, get Eddie Howe out. Now, had he just said, if you didn't put the picture,
yeah,
I would have been less offended. But because you put the
what?
picture of half and half, I was thinking, oh my day. So I literally retweeted and just went, they walk among us.
I mean, people's got to realise that as much as everybody wants Tonali to start, he hasn't played for over a year, right?
Yeah.
We all know his ability. We're all dying to get him in. For me,
Yeah.
we all want him to be a superstar that we know he is, but it's not the Eddie Howe way. He's got to remember,
with Bruno,
right? Regardless of a new signing or whatever,
did it to Gordon as well.
Yeah,
but
Tonali's been at the football club, right? And he's been around these players. But then because his own stupidness, right, hasn't just earned him the right to play. All these other players that's played because of his stupidness, right? He was signed to our football club to make us better. All these other players have had to go, well, what about last season when we were down to 12 players and we've had loads in that, and we've been the ones that's ran through hell to try and get points for Newcastle United Football Club. Eddie Howe doesn't forget that. So he's letting Tonali earn the respect before he comes in my opinion. Just like he did with
you've got to earn the shirt, haven't you? But also the person who's got the shirt has also got to lose the shirt as well at the end of the day.
It's a completely different situation, mind, with Bruno, because he was at a French league where the completely different pace of game. Don't get us wrong, his ability was always there, but he nurtured him quite well. Tonali's been a completely different ball game because obviously what's happened off the field. Now, he's not just going to turn his back on other players' mind by
no, of course
turning the right to come in. He's not going to do that. And I think that'll be it. Done, dusted. I think he'll be in from the start for the future of this football club.
I agree. I really do. And I think he's waited for the right moment to do it, and ripping them off at halftime just shows you that even the mighty Joe Linton that we all look at and go, God, I'm glad he's back. He is replaceable because Willock came on in that second half and he was fantastic.
I mean, Baz, how many
different animal then?
Yeah, how many times have we seen Eddie Howe's a yes man? He's a walkover. He's just too nice. This, that, and the other.
His favourites.
Do you know what? Right, we've all heard that he still looks after his favourites, but some of them have all gone. But it was nice. It was nice for him to say, "You ain't doing this, by the way, and you're not pulling the string off," and that's great. But Eddie Howe's never been in a strong enough position when he's got a bench to call upon to go. He's probably at times thought, do you know how it is? You're playing shite, but I haven't got nobody to bring on.
Nothing. Yeah.
So he's looked around and went, I've got an international player, Tonali, Barnes, Willock, 3 changes straight away and going, they are going to change this football match, mate. You off. Or one was forced, obviously. You're not doing it, you're off. And that's brilliant for me because it should put a rocket up the arses that people's ass doing it.
Yeah, it's got to. And again, even those players played well when they came on, they've then got to carry that form on because then you'll look at the bench again and go, well, you were on before him. So, I will change it up if I have to.
Baz, it's healthy. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. Of course it is. Competition's healthy. You need to have a big squad to be able to challenge in all these competitions. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
There's the league table. Unbelievable. Like I said, personally, I think we should have 12 points because I think we should have beat Bournemouth. I'm still not joking. I still think we should have beat Bournemouth in that second half when we made the changes and everyone came on. I thought we had enough chances to win that game, but there you go. But I'm still over the moon, absolutely over the moon with this start. Goal difference is in a plus.
Yeah.
Could be higher. But let's face it, if you look at Man City's goals, they're all Haaland. Haaland scored 9 goals for Man City. Take those 9 goals out with Man City, and they will be struggling themselves this season, to be honest with you. Yes, they'll probably still would have 12 points because they probably would have grinded out results, but they wouldn't have won them as well as they have because Haaland's just on another level at the moment. And again, we've got Isak to come back properly. You know, we've got Wilson to come back and fire. And, you know, the signs are good for us. Yes, performance terrible, but we're unbeaten. There's only 3 clubs who are unbeaten in the Premier League. No, 4, sorry. It's Brighton as well. They're unbeaten. They've got quite a few draws. But that is an amazing start to the season. And momentum is a very, very strong, addictive, thing to have in a football club. And I said this to you guys before the start of the season. I said, look at our first 5 fixtures. If we win all those 5 fixtures, we then face Man City. And we face Man City going in on a very good place. And it's exactly what Arsenal did last season. When Arsenal had 10 winnable games to start, they won them all and they carried on that form for the rest of the season. That pushed them on. And that's what I think it'll do for us now because we're doing it. And if we can beat Fulham, Jesus Christ, they'll have to start talking about title challenges on Sky Sports, won't they? Not we won't. Sky Sports will. They did it with Brighton. When Brighton beat Man United, they started talking about Brighton as title contenders.
They won't.
As a bit of a
no, they won't. They'll bring some bullshit story about 007 friggin' saving our takeover, just like they did about an hour ago.
I'll tell you exactly why they won't. If we kicked off at 2:00, 2:30, whatever it was yesterday, Sky Sports would have been non-stop talking about Arsenal.
Oh, of course it would have been. That's what they do.
Right the way through, right? We got 13 minutes yesterday. They literally went from all the way through the Arsenal-Tottenham game, right the way through, after the game, straight, like normally they'll go, right, we'll go straight to the other game. They didn't. They stayed with Arsenal, Tottenham, all the way through, and then literally 13 minutes we had coverage going into a 4:30 kickoff.
Just shows you, doesn't it? But again, what I'm saying is if we beat Fulham and then we're playing Man City, they will have to talk about us as potential title challengers because we'll only be a point behind them.
What topped it off yesterday on Sky Sports, late at night, they had the Arsenal-Tottenham game on, highlights. And I'm thinking, all right, here's a Newcastle game coming on. They put the golf on. Right? They put the Solheim golf on. And then they went to a break. Right? And then we came back after the break. Now that goes to show exactly what they think of us.
Yeah, true. But they're still going to have to talk about it, and they will. They'll talk about it for 5 minutes, but they've got to put us in that conversation if we beat Fulham. Even though we won't, because we know what a long season is. We all know that we're not there yet. We're there on merit because we're winning games, but there's still a lot to improve on. Fully enjoyed this chat, guys. Thank you very much for doing it, as always. Like I say, let's just stop this Eddie Howe out witch hunt stuff and all these sad people. Don't give them the breath of fresh air. I'm not anymore. I've had enough of seeing it, to be honest with you. Just keep supporting the football club the way we're doing, and we'll keep banging out the positivity like we do, because at the end of the day, we can criticize, we can, but we'll do it in a way where it's positive. It's positive criticism of a performance, but knowing that we're picking up points. And yes, it will come back to haunt us at some point. There will be a dip. It's just how we react from that dip. And let's bring on the Fulham game. Friday night probably, or Thursday night for the next one. I will let you all know once I've worked out all my shifts and everything that's going on. We've got to be positive. We're third. We're second on goal difference. It's crazy. Got to be positive.
Do you know, if you think about it, if we beat Fulham,
we'll be top of the league. Because City play on Sunday. Yeah.
Sunday. Think about that.
Yeah, we're putting pressure on City already.
So if we win, go top of the league. Let's see how many Eddie Howe outs on the weekend.
Oh, there'll still be a few. Any of the top 6 got 10 minutes premium. Oh yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we'll see you again either Thursday or Friday, and we'll be talking about the Fulham game ahead then. Take care, everyone.